Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion. I call this the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube, and I call this chapstick. This is cake batter, scented and flavored. On my face right now is just the Fenty Brow MVP and the Fenty Primer and the Fenty Foundation. I wear the shade 335. We're going to prime the lids and do the intro. I'm going to finish the face later. My under eyes are looking kind of dark. Ooh, hey girl. I'm going to double this look. You see from the title what we're using, and let me start priming. And I was wondering whether or not to even do this, but we're going to do it because part of me just really wants to see, even though I kind of know, well, not kind of, I do know they're going to be similar. Not identical, not at all, but the vibe, y'all, is going to be the same. And it's to the point where I've been questioning myself back and forth on, am I going to keep Sunlit Seduction or sell it on Mercari, because I know somebody will buy it. Anytime I put, well, not anytime, but usually Pat McGrath stuff sells on Mercari. And then part of me is like, am I going to be that person that just keeps it just to keep it, meaning keeping it to do pairings with other motherships? And so I do believe it'll come in handy, but I don't know if I'll actually continue to use all the shades. And I like to use all the shades in the palette, but when you're pairing palettes, you're not using all the shades. And so I would have to make it a point that when I do pair it, to use different shades. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my dilemma with this palette, because Future Flame is the same vibe and it has more variety. So it's like, I don't want to keep two palettes that I can do the same looks with. But I do, it is fun pairing brands within the brand. And I'm looking forward to, when I get back to Lethal, and even pairing MAC palettes with MAC palettes, pairing Natasha Denona with Natasha Denona. Just for those who do have that palettes, keeping in mind that it doesn't have to be that palette. It can just be that color story. And just like Future Flame dupes Sunlit Seduction, you may have something already that dupes something else. And I'm wondering if that Cool Tone Connecting Color MAC palette may dupe Subliminal from Pat McGrath. And so I'm curious about that. The good thing is MAC is sold at Ulta, and I have a bunch of Ulta points, and I have a gift card. So we're going to do the intro. Should we? Because now I'm ready to jump into the look. We're not going to do the intro, but the bottom line to the Crazy Troll Nation is, if you do videos, be yourself. Be who you are, be your authentic self, and be proud that you're being your authentic self, not trying to be like someone else. And also just enjoying your time on YouTube in general, excuse me, whatever channels that you watch. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or a certain technique. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. Because here at the Crazy Troll Nation, we are about self-acceptance and self-love, embracing our natural features, enhancing them when we want to, if we want to, but never, ever feeling like we have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on. I do curse reading a text message. Excuse me. I do curse on my channel sometimes, because I curse period sometimes. So if you're new here, now you know. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for being here. I have brushes laid out. I have out what I'm going to do for the face later. I'm going to double this look for Barbie Goth, for the Goth Timber prompts, which means we're going to do a popping pink cheek maybe. I'm going to still do a black lip, but I'm thinking I'm going to tap one of these pinks on top of it. I don't know what that's going to look like. And we are maybe going to use a red eyeliner, since it's supposed to be a Barbie look. Reading in text. Excuse me. I am so rude. And also maybe incorporating Fluid Line from MAC, which is Midnight Snack. But we're going to see when we get there. And I will probably edit the liner part out. But that's what I'm thinking as of right now. And let's just get into the look. So, and of course I have brushes covering up my paper, which says what's going to go where. So I'm gonna hold up these two palettes. Ooh, we know what they both look like. I do have a playlist for Sunlit Seduction. I have a playlist for MAC. This is Future Flames. This is Sunlit Seduction. I know y'all see what I'm seeing. Granted, the celestial shades in here, they are going to be shinier. These are just regular metallics in here. And this one does not have that purplish metallic shade. And even though Future Flame has a gold shade, it's not going to be shiny like the celestial gold shade in this one. And there's not a bright pink in Flame like there is in Sunlit Seduction. But y'all, the vibes. And so we're going to do One Look, One Eye. And I'm thinking of Grace right now, Joe Beauty 87. Because she does a lot of, you don't need this palette because you got this one. And then she does one look with one palette on one eye, another on the other eye. And yeah, y'all be the same. And I know I always say, just in general, that's just like one look. But looking at this palette, and this will be my 10th look using this on its own. And out of the 9 I previously did, 3 of them look the same, which means we had 7 distinct looks. This one here has more variety because there's more depth and there's more options if you do the traditional transition shade, crease shade, you know, outer corner shade. So you have a lot more variety with this one than with Sunlit Seduction. And so that's what appeals to me. And so I'm excited to keep using it. I almost didn't purchase it because it's monochromatic. But once I used it, I'm like, you know what? It's nice. And I do really like MAC's formula. So let's just jump into it. So this is going to be our MAC eye, and this will be look number 3 with this palette. The first look, these 2 columns was on one eye, and I put these 2 columns of shadows on the other eye. So this will be look 3, and for Sunlit Seduction, this will be look number 11, just using Sunlit on its own. So we're going to take Worldwide Wine, this shade here. You know what? We're not. That wasn't the one. Was that the one? Let me just double check. No, that wasn't the one. This was not the one that looked like Extreme Vermilion Dusk. It was this one. So we're going to take this, and this is Embark. Y'all, if y'all been around 15 years, 20 years, y'all remember Embark was the shade. Embark was the crease shade, outer corner shade for most all people of color at MAC. Because look at this. And this is a fluffy shader brush, but it can go deep. This is an OG shade, and MAC is still that girl, but it's not talked about amongst all the new stuff. And so I always feel really good when I go back to using MAC shadows because the formula is consistent. Even though Embark is in other palettes, you can buy it a single pro pan to put into a build your own palette. You can buy it just as a single in a pot. The consistency is the same. And for other brands, some brands, the consistency changes according to what that shadow is in. Is it in a palette? Is it in a single? You know what I mean? But MAC is consistent. And that's why I like it. But also I think that's why some people get bored with it. Because it's like, okay, we know already. But MAC shadows do not fail me except for... I was thinking this was Hi-Fi Color. That yellow didn't show up at all. So that was disappointing. But it may be good, excuse me for smacking, for like a blending out shade or something like that. But MAC shadows, y'all, MAC is consistent. And I do really feel good going back and using MAC shadows. Because MAC is still that girl, that dude, that non-binary, that gender fluid person, like for real, for real. So this is Embark. And this is the one that to me looked identical to Extreme Vermilion Dusk. I probably need to turn my TV down because I do not want to have a copyright strike. I have Pulse running. Let me go turn it down or just pause it. Hopefully I'm sitting where I was sitting before. I also turned my AC down 2 degrees because I'm sweating. So I don't know whether to put the brushes away because I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. So we're going to take Extreme Vermilion Dusk, this shade here. And even though, like, looking at it like this, it doesn't look the same. But when I swatched it, was it Worldwide Wine? If it is, y'all, I messed up. So we're going to take, excuse me, Extreme Vermilion Dusk. I think it might have been Worldwide Wine. Yeah. So now I'm going to have to take... Worldwide Wine and put on top of Embark. I done messed up already, y'all. And I had Worldwide Wine to use, And then I'm like, wait a minute, no, it's Embark. It's not Embark. Maybe I was feeling nostalgic and just wanted to use an OG MAC shade. I'm trying to do a thing here and I'm already messed up. I do really like Pat McGrath's matte formulas in her motherships. And her mega motherships, the holiday ones, I do not like the mattes in there. To me, they're just dry. And I decided with that last one not to even get another one, because one of the shadows erupted on me, and a few of the shadows I had an allergic reaction to. Like, it is just not the same. And so I'm gonna just stick with the motherships. Hopefully another color story will come out, not pink, and you know, something different. But it seems like different doesn't sell with that brand. And excuse me if you heard that in my throat. But I posted on my community tab not too long ago, a few days ago, I had got an email that Midnight Sun was on sale for $77 on the Pat McGrath website. I'm like, they are still trying to get rid of it. It was on sale for $77 for a long time. And then they slapped a sticker on it for Star Wars and raised the one without the sticker back to $129. Was it $128? And they put the regular Midnight Sun back at full price. And I'm like, they are crazy. They are freaking crazy. And now it's back to $77. I like that palette, and you know, speaking to a few people through social media, they really like that palette too. So I don't understand. But then it's not for everybody, and I know that. So we're going to take Worldwide Wine on the opposite side of the brush they had Embark. We're going to use this side. Hopefully it just doesn't make Embark darker. And hopefully you don't consider this cheating, but I put the wrong shade. Y'all, I messed up. But you see, look at this. Look at this. When I did those two looks with Future Flame, the more I looked at those looks, I'm like, that looks like something else I did. And I'm like, don't tell me this is a dupe for Sunset. And then I did swatches on my forehead, and y'all were like, yeah, that's that looks like that. At least the same vibes. And the colors that aren't the same, the shades that aren't the same, it's like, it's okay, because it just has more variety to Future Flame. And so some of you were excited for that, because this is $54, but sometimes Ulta has, they always have coupons. We're going back to Vermilion, Extreme Vermilion Dusk with the brush that had that on there. Ulta has a coupon every week, but it's usually just for the drugstore side of the store. Every now and then they have a coupon for Prestige. And the one right now, today is September 14th, 14th. September 14th. Right now there's a coupon for $15 off a $50 or more purchase, including Prestige. And so looking at these, even though I messed up and put on Embark on the bottom, if you can see where it's blended out, these shades are not that different. And they're not going to be identical. You know I said that before, and that's why I kind of was like, what's the purpose in doing this? Because they're not going to look the same. But it's going to be like the same vibe. So the question will be to let me know which one you like better. Like which side you like to look better. Now we're going to take Flamboyant, this shade right here. And we're using the same brushes, just clean ones, because I don't want to be like, well, that's because you used that brush with this one or this brush with that one. And so we're keeping things as even as possible. So we're going to put this over here on the MAC side. Y'all, these shadows. I encourage you, if you don't have any MAC, sometimes I see singles at TJ Maxx and or at Marshall's. And they might be like $7, I think, $5, $7. And the singles are the same formula as I was saying earlier. So if you don't have any MAC, I do encourage you to try it. Or go into the MAC store. The Pro Pens are $11. Those are the singles that you can put into a compact. The singles that come in their own compact, I want to say $23 or something like that. But so that's what that looks like. That's looking a little orangey. I didn't think it was going to look orangey. But this is not going to look the same. But you know what? I think they're both going to look nice. So that's Flamboyant. And it blended together. Like, look. And they, MAC shadows, y'all. I do encourage you. And I purchased Future Flame and Connecting Color when there was a point multiplier event at Ulta. Points add up quick when you do that. Now we're going to take Blitz Crimson Ecstasy. So no, it's not the same, because already this is looking orange, and y'all know this is red. This is red. But we're going to just put this here, because we're just trying to see what the vibe is going to look like. And we know they're going to be reddish, orangey. I'm saying orangey because of this shade. Pinkish vibes. So we already know that. But just to see, this is moving in the pan. I think I need to get the chunk on my lid. I don't remember what I did last time. I know I used a dry brush because I always use a dry brush. But I'm trying to think of what I did to get it even across the lid, because it does go on patchy. The first time I used it didn't, and I think I used either this brush or the Hourglass brush, which is wider. Both are dense. This one being smaller, it does give me more control. So I'm just like buffing up here at the top just to bring it up some, because there's like a little indentation where now it's not there. So we're just trying to get the color consistent, like just around it right here. And we just did it. So we're going back in again. I do like this palette though. And I think because my expectations were so low, because I'm not a pink person. But when I thought, okay, there's a Barbie Goth prompt, so we're gonna do that. And so this will work for that. And so yes, this is definitely more red. And this is a Celestial shade. This is a matte. So it is definitely different. We're going to go back to Flamboyant with that brush that had Flamboyant on it. And we're just going to just pack more on. When I swatch these on my forehead, this is a matte, but it's looking like a satin. Like, it's not looking like a flat matte. But when I swatched them on my arm, no, it was on my forehead. At certain angles, it looked identical. But on my lids, no. I'm still digging it. So we're going to use the tip of this brush. So I don't have a shade that I'm going to use for transition. And I could though. But we're not. Because those shades are definitely not the same. So we're just taking it up a little bit higher. I'm going to go back to the brush that had Embark on it. Which side had Embark? The brown side had Embark. And actually we're going to tap back in it very lightly. Oh shoot, I should have took Worldwide Wine. And we're just filling it in right here. We're going to flip it over to the side that had Worldwide Wine. And we're going to also put that in that same spot. And we're also feathering inward. So that is what this is looking like over here. That's nice. This is nice too. And it's blended out nice too. But I can see more of a line in between these two shades, and I don't want to blend like this too much because I don't want to encourage fallout. I just felt something fall on my face. I spoke it and it happened. Hopefully it bounced off. Nope. Oh shoot, that did not work at all. Some of it, oh goodness. Oh, lower lash line, I have NYX Retractable Eyeliner in gold. And on my lower waterline and my upper waterline, we have NYX Retractable Eyeliner in brown. So I forgot to mention that. So next we're going to take Amber Lights, which is this shade right here. And these shadows are so nice. And so that's gonna go right here. And we're gonna bring that down. I don't know why I'm acting like I don't know how to put on shadow. I'm just like, just all kind of ways. You would think I'm just learning. And I do learn, you know, as I go anyway. But I don't know why I was like, I really don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I seriously don't. This is sunsetty. This is cute. we're going to put that brush down. Now we're going to go into Sunlit, and we're going to take, oh goodness, Copper Dawn. I was thinking Hypnotic Bronze, which takes over almost anything you put it near, but we're taking Copper Dawn, this shade here, and that is going to go right here on this side. Wow, this one, I did not tap off this time. So yeah, they're definitely different, but it's still the same. And this would be enough for some people to keep both, because they are different. Even though we're using shades that could be possibly, potentially, maybe if you squint and close one eye, they look the same. Some people would still be like, it's different enough, you know, and it is different enough. Like, it's definitely not a dupe, but just the overall vibe is a dupe. And honestly, even though I like the dark, I like that this has that gradient, that sunset type look, that sunrise type look. So let's just keep going, because we got stuff to do. We're at 21 minutes. So we're going to take La Vida, no, what's the pointillism? This shade down here. And this is, that's what that looks like. And that's going to go on the inner portion of the lid. So that's going to go here. These, excuse me, blend so nice. That is it. And I still keep doing stuff. We're going to go back to the brush that had what, amber lights on it, and we're just going to overlap. This lid is done, y'all. This is a nice look. I'm not quite liking how light this inner corner is looking. I was reading another text. Excuse me. Now I like it. And we're going to go into Sunlit Seduction, and we're going to take Skin Tints Radiance. Again, not the same, because you saw how light this was. And even though this looks like it, it does have like a rosy pinkish hue to it, because this is a pink palette. And so we're going to put that right here. I like this eye better. Let me know which one you're liking better. Keep in mind we're not done. This is going to be strange for a Barbie look, having two different eye looks on, right? I'm thinking I need to bring these shades up higher, because we took these higher up. Then it means I got to mess with that crimson shade. We're going to go back to the brush that had Copper Dawn, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just overlap right here. That lid is done. Copper Dawn just kind of blended into my skin tone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the brush that had Extreme Vermilion Dusk. I'm not adding anything else to the brush, but we're going to just windshield wiper back and forth just to bring it up more towards the brow bone. It looks like there's a color there, doesn't it? Sometimes I forget that that Fenty primer has a pinkish hue to it. And I never really paid much attention until Tanya had mentioned it. And I'm like, you know what, it really does. Yeah, so this looks like it has a brow bone shade. Whereas this one like doesn't. But it's the same primer. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back with the brush that had Worldwide Wine, which was this side, because Embark was brown. So we're gonna take this and we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna just feather lightly, just further up, because I'm liking what that did, because it does look like there's a brow bone shade even though it's not. So we're just lightly feathering, and we're going to leave that like that. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take we're going to go back to the MAC palette, and we're going to take La Vida Mocha, which is this shade here, and we're going to put that on our lower lash line. I am still sweating, even though I turned the AC temperature down so that it would kick on, and I can feel that it kicked on, but maybe I'm having my own little personal summer. Listen, y'all, true story. I started getting hot flashes when I was 33 years old. They don't happen often, but I think I might be having one right now, because I feel the AC blowing and I still feel like just very hot. So that's what this is looking like under here. We're just gonna blow it down. That's why I chose this brush, because it'll automatically blow out. And I am putting it lower, like down here versus lash line, since we already have it under our lash line. So we're coming down a little further than we normally do. And a shade like this, I can do that because it's not going to get too dark. It's not going to make me look sick. Like when I put those pinks under here from Sunlit Seduction, I look like I had pink eye. So now from Sunlit, we're going to take not Skin Tints Radiance. We did that. Hypnotic Bronze, this shade here. I'm wishing right now this was a live, because I would ask you if you want to see the process of me finishing my face. We're going to, I don't know if this is going to air before or after the video I did showing how I used the Hourglass Elephant palette and the Tiger palette. But we're going to do the same thing again today. I like this better than this one for lower lash line because it's a little bit darker. But on my lid, this shade, Hypnotic Bronze, it takes over whatever's near it. Like it's just, you put it there and you can't get rid of it. So we're going back to La Vida Mocha, and we're just going to put some more, even though it's not going to get any darker. I don't think. I like this side better because of the colors. It's more colorful, even though I like the dark and smoky. I think I would like this side better if the lower lash line was darker. But just for the sunset vibe, I'm really digging it. And this is kind of just what you're going to get from this palette, unless you're way more creative than I am. So we're going to close both of these up for now, because we're actually done with that. So we're going to take, my face is mostly dry, but here it's damp because I was sweating. So we're going to take, since I used this for loose setting powder before, this is the Hourglass setting powder. In the no-buy check-in collab video, I'm like, let me just try this with a loose setting powder, and it worked. It was with I used it with what is that name, House Labs, and it worked really well with that. That's the texture of that powder is different to me than other pressed powders. Like there seems to be like a moistness to it, and even to the point where sometimes it's clumpy. Like, and I put it in my empty Fashion Fair sifter, and underneath the sifter the powder was clumpy, and so it was challenging to get it to dispense because it was clumpy. And I'm like, if you're a powder, why are you in clumps? And so there is like a moisture factor to that powder, and it is, I forget what it's called. Let me just see real quick. It says on the back, bio blurring loose setting powder. So that's all it says. So it doesn't say like gel anything, which is what I thought it was going to say because of how it applies. So we're going to take, let me put these brushes away, the eyeshadow brushes, because I'm done with the brushes. So I'm guessing we're going to go ahead and do the face right now. So we're going to take the Elephant palette, and I do not have out brushes, and I didn't wash the brushes from when I did this the other day. Is this eye tearing? We're going to take this shade here for setting the under eye, but then I think I'm gonna go in with Radiant Light later for under eye. And I do like Radiant for under eye because it does have a luminosity to it, where this is just a matte shade. But I mean, it works, but it doesn't work to camouflage some of my under eye discoloration like Radiant Light does. And so next we're going to take, actually I'm gonna use, because we're going to use that for what am I thinking? We're going to use that for Radiant Light under eye later. So for, oh, you know what I need? Shit. A lot of my brushes are dirty because I didn't wash them. And I know I always say I'll wash brushes after every use, but then like it's once in a blue moon. You know what it was? Because it was to get ready with me and I was going somewhere. And so when I got back, I just didn't use it. We're going to take this shade as a contour with the brush that we shall not name. Oh, guess what, y'all? I surprised myself. And I don't know if I should say it out loud. I did tell my accountability partners. I low-key still want the snake color story for the new palette. But part of me feels like I would be boo-boo the full troll clown for doing that, because a social media friend of mine, she sent swatches, and she did post on her Instagram, and she compared the swatches between Tiger from last year and the snake color story from this year, and only like 3 of the shades like show up different, and she's medium skin tone too. So I was just like, she messaged me like, I hope this saves you some money. She's like, don't even bother. And the 3 shades that didn't look the same, they were very similar. So it was like, is this going to look the same on this skin? And for $90, I'm just like, no. And because of how we're going to use the same brush. And we're going to go into the Tiger palette, take this shade. And she said, this bronzer, this is actually a finishing powder, but for me it's a bronzer. She said, this is deeper than the bronzer in Snake. And I'm like, what? And that's supposed to be for deep skin tones. Like, Hourglass really doesn't know what deep skin tones are. Like, they just don't. Because there's just... But anyway. So low-key, I still want it, but I don't. Like, if it was half off, I would definitely get it, which is not ever going to be half off. But, and even using Ulta points for it, that's $90 worth of points that I can use for something else, like, you know, more MAC palettes. You know what I mean? So I still got that bruise where I said the other day, I think something bit me on my forehead. And when I did that video, I heard myself saying between these 2 palettes, I have 4 blushes, 3 highlighters, a blush light, a contour bronzer, under eye powder, and finishing powder. So these 2, I have everything. And even just having 4 blush options and 3 highlight options, I'm like, what more could I want? On top of the other, you know, the 5 Haus Labs blushes that I have, and 2 of the Pat McGrath blushes. So it's just like, girl, troll, get yourself together. So in that video yesterday, we used these 2 down here. We used this as a blush and this as a blush light. So we're going to flip it. I think we still need to do that since this is supposed to be a Barbie look, but I am going to take another pink. We're going to take one of these from yeah, so we're done with Tiger. We're done with the Tiger palette. We're going to go into Hourglass because this is going to double for Barbie. So we're going to take this one right here. This is a blush. For me, both of these are blushes. This is the one we use for contour. This to me is a highlighter, under eye powder, and this is dim light, which I use for finishing my face. This is soft light, which even though I use it for under eye, I don't prefer it. But you'll see what I mean when I do put radiant light on top of it. So this is, that's this one in the corner that looks like very rosy. So we're going to just like pack it on, because when I think of Barbie, I think of just pink obnoxiously, because I don't really like pink. And so I'm just like, and I have a whole monochromatic eyeshadow look, face look, lipstick, everything pink. To me, I'm just like, that's just obnoxious to me, because that's, I don't really care for pinks, but here I am doing pink. But so that's going to be for that. And we are going to take, what are we using as a highlighter? This one. We're going to take this as a highlighter. And we're just going to put that right here. That's all. Just right there. Swoop, 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 swoop. That's done. No, we're going to do it again. Swoop, 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 swoop. There we go. Swoop, 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 swoop. All right. So we're going to do that. And now we're going to take, oh, Radiant Light. So I want you to see, I'm going to wait to do Radiant Light because we're also going to use that for a finishing powder. So we're going to take Watermelon Bliss from Haus Labs, because this is supposed to be a universal red. So we're going for red here, people, because this is Barbie, bitch. Okay. Supposed to be Barbie Goth. I don't know. So I'm just thinking pink. And it's 2 different eye looks. So it's like, you want to be the smoky Barbie or you want to be a cute sunset Barbie. So that's what we're going to do. So I am just really packing this on. And usually I go very lightly because this shade, you see, it's Barbie, bitch. So even blending it out is just like, whoa, like what are you doing? Like, can you stop it? Like right now. So we're gonna put that brush down. Actually, we are going to take the House Labs bronzer, and this is Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer Medium Level 7. Because this, we need something. So we're very lightly tap, tap, and then we flip it over, and we're just gonna put that right here. Tap, 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 very lightly, just to, I don't know, for something. We're gonna go straight in, not tap off. I just need, I'm not need, I just want something, because this is just like, but you know what, it's Barbie, so we're just gonna leave it, because this bronzer ain't say nothing. I see a little bit right here. Okay, let's tap twice and put that like where the contour would be. Tap twice, put that where the contour would be. And see if that gives us just a little bit of definition, because we need something. We need to put something right here. Oh, sometimes my lip just goes so crooked, and I'll be like, it's something. I mean, it goes crooked anyway, but even just talking generally, like this side just kind of hangs. For those of you who don't know, I know I mentioned this like way, way back. When I was born, one side of my face was paralyzed. Like seriously, no joke. I was 10 pounds, 10.5 ounces, and my mom would say, they should have did a cesarean, you tore me. And I'm like, I didn't know, like I was just coming out. Like I didn't do it on purpose. But she said she was concerned because one side of my face was paralyzed, and she was hoping that like the eye would, I forget which side it was that was paralyzed, but I remember her saying that she was hoping, like, you know, the side that was paralyzed, that the eye would open and, you know, my mouth would open, because one side wasn't. And so I wonder if this is the side that, I don't know, because part of me is thinking like when something's paralyzed, it just kind of hangs, and that's how this side just kind of hangs. And looking at my eyes, which one is it? This side is more droopy inward, but this side is high. I don't know like what side. And looking at my nostrils, this side is bigger than this one. And even just my face in general, I'm really off on a tangent. Even like, look at my cheeks. This is full when I smile. This is right here. It's just like, whose face is like that? And so I used to try to figure out like which side was paralyzed when I was born. And I forget how long she said it took for it to, you know, fix itself or whatever, but I don't remember what side that she said. Yeah, so I don't remember. But anyway, so we're going to take Radiant Light. Yeah, so that's a true story. And so I'm wondering if this is just a part of that. And when I grin hard, this is like way over there. But even sometimes just talking, it's just over there anyway. So this is Radiant Light, and we're going to use this as a finishing powder. And that will tone this down some. So look, no Radiant Light, Radiant Light. Like at this, and I'm going to try and get it under my eye, which means this eye is tearing because it's wet right here. So no Radiant Light, Radiant Light. I don't even know if this is showing up under there. Let me not poke myself in the eye. So, and this is my darkest patch. Yes, I don't know if this was a good example, or if I should have used a smaller brush to get under my eye. But I can tell the difference on this side, not so much this side, because that's my darkest patch. And I don't want to keep putting this on because this does have a sheen to it. And if I put too much, it still looks good here. But when I go outside, it's just like, girl, you glowing. And not in a good way. And so that's Radiant Light. So I'm going to edit out putting on the liner because I don't know which one I'm going to do. And this eye is tearing. So we are going to shoot. I want to do something. I'm going to figure stuff out and I'll be back and I'll let you know what I did. Okay, so hear me out. Barbie got confused. She didn't know if she wanted to be like just a regular Barbie or if she wanted to be like a smoke out Barbie. Is this goth? I don't know. I'm trying, y'all. I don't know. So we did put on McGrath. Ow, I'll be closing these tight, which is good because it'll keep them drying out faster. Number 79. And so we did a little wing. And I had the nerve to still use Midnight Snack from MAC. This is a fluid line. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a line on top of the red. I'll see it back when I look at this to edit. So we did that. And then we took the red again, put a line under the brow. We also went into the Xenon palette because I wanted something else lower lash line. So we took this gray here, or whatever shade this is, and put that lower lash line. I was still kind of like, So we went back into the MAC palette and we took Love at First Sight, this shade right here, and we buffed that lightly under both eyes. And then we did the lip, and yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. For mascara, we use MAC Stack Mascara. This one is the violet one. And so this is what we got. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what this is. I'm gonna send it to Jenna, see if she thinks it's Golf Barbie. And then if so, I will submit it for Barbie Golf prompt. And if not, then we'll just say that we had fun playing in pinks and playing with double liner on our upper lash line and liner under our brow. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But this is what we got. I don't even know what to say about the eye looks, but this is Sunlit Seduction. This one is MAC Future Flame. No, they don't look the same, and no, they don't even really look similar. And even these two shades, when I swatched them, they look the same at a certain angle. They don't, because this one showed up kind of orangey on me. So they're really not as similar as I thought they were. Surprisingly, because the swatches, some of them were really close. So which eye look do you prefer? Do you prefer the Sunlit Seduction eye look? Or do you prefer the Future Flame Sunlit eye look? Oh, Lord. MAC Future Flame look. Or do you not know because you're distracted by the lip? And if so, I understand that. And I don't like the cheek that red. But we were going for Barbie. But then everything else isn't even pink. I'm whining. So anyway, this is what we got. Just having fun on your channel. I thank you that you're here for it. If you made it this far, even if you were just curious, like, what the hell is she going to do next? Go ahead and thumbs up the video. If you didn't like it, getting to the end and being like, that was a waste of, 45 minutes. Thumbs down. Comments are welcome either way. If you're not subscribed, I would love it if you did. There's also a link where you can click to see what the perks are to join if you're interested in that. Excuse me, there's a lot of links down below in the description box. There's excuse me. There's information down below. So that'll be it for this video. I'm just sitting here looking at myself like, girl, what are you doing? Like, what did you do? But you know what? It's only makeup and it washes off, so we're good. So that'll be it, seriously. But let me know, Sunlit Seduction, MAC Future Flame. Like, which one do you prefer? Even though I like the darkness on the outer corner here, this has that darkness too, and you have more visual interest on the lid altogether. Let me know if you see the double liner and how that's looking. When I look up, you can't see it, it hides in a puff. So it would have to be when I'm looking down for somebody to even be detail oriented enough to even see it. And it's a gray, so it doesn't show up too much, but I'm still messing around. I do like the red under my brows. It's something else to look at. My lips are making me think of the Joker. This ain't Barbie. I don't know what this is. Hashtag troll tried it. So thumbs up for that. Yeah. Thank you. As always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you for being here for whatever this look is. And I appreciate you. And you will see me soon.